The bridge of the ship was quiet. Lieutenant Commander Jake Morrison looked at his reports. Everything seemed normal. The human ship had been flying through space for 3 months. They were making maps of stars and planets. It was supposed to be easy work. Commander Lisa Hartley sat in the captain's chair. She was 37 years old. She had red hair tied back. Her eyes watched the screens. She was young to be a commander, but she was good at her job. The crew liked her because she was smart and brave. Then everything changed. Ensign Peter Walsh was working at the communications station. He was only 23 years old. He was new and nervous. His voice shook when he spoke. "Commander, I am getting a signal." "It is strange. It is not from any human ship." Lisa looked at him quickly. Strange meant alien. Humans had been in space for 15 years. They had never found intelligent life before. They had found small life like bacteria. They had found plants on 3 worlds. But they had never found anyone who could talk or build things. Never found anyone who could call for help. "Let me hear it," she said. She leaned forward in her chair. The speakers made a crackling sound. Then strange noises came through. They were not words. They were tones that went up and down. They almost sounded like music. But even though they were alien, the meaning was clear. Someone was in trouble. Someone needed help. Lieutenant Amy Cruz worked at her station. She studied alien languages. Her dark eyes were wide. She was excited and scared. She typed on her computer. She tried to understand the signal. "Commander, this is a distress call. The math patterns match danger signals. Whoever sent this is telling us where they are. And Commander, look at this data. What is it? The signal has information about their bodies, about their air and gravity and temperature. Commander, whoever sent this lives in very low gravity. They breathe strange air. They think 20 degrees is very cold." Jake whistled softly. "Sounds like they come from a gentle world." Lisa understood right away. Humans came from Earth. Earth was a dangerous planet. It had strong gravity. It had bad weather. It had animals that hunted and killed. It had diseases that could kill you. The air could rust metal. Humans had learned to survive all of that. Most aliens would die on Earth in just a few hours. Navigation, fly to those coordinates. Go as fast as you can. Communications, try to answer them. Use the same math patterns. Tell them help is coming. The ship changed direction. It jumped into faster than light speed. Lisa felt worried. The signal was desperate. But there was something else in those sounds. Something that any living thing would understand. It was fear. 3 hours later, the ship came out of faster than light travel. They were at the edge of a star system. Human maps had never shown this place before. The sun was yellow like Earth's sun, but smaller. 6 planets went around it. The distress signal came from the 3rd planet. Lieutenant Greg Palmer worked at the weapons station. His hands had old scars from an accident years ago. He sat up straight in his chair. "Commander, I see many objects. Lots of broken ships around the 3rd planet. And there are enemy ships. I see weapons firing. There is a battle happening." "Show me," Lisa said. Her jaw was tight. The main screen showed the planet. It was beautiful. It was blue and green with white clouds. But the space around it was full of broken ships. Energy weapons made bright flashes in the sky. There were 2 kinds of ships. One group had smooth curves. They looked almost alive. Their hulls seemed to shine. These ships were around the planet. They were trying to defend it. The other group had sharp angles. They looked brutal and mean. Their dark hulls had many weapons. They were attacking with careful precision. Amy was already studying the ships. "Commander, the curved ships match the data from the distress call. I think they are the ones who asked for help, and they are losing," Jake added. His voice was grim. "Look at all the broken ships. Most of them are theirs." Lisa made her choice fast. "Red alert. Everyone to battle stations. Greg, target the attacking ships. Jake, call Earth Space Command. We need more ships here. We need them now." The bridge became busy. Alarms sounded. People ran to their positions. The human ship was made for exploring, not fighting. But all human ships that flew in deep space had weapons. Humans had learned that the universe was dangerous. "Commander," Greg said carefully, "those attacking ships are bigger than us. They have more weapons. Normal tactics say we should not fight them." Lisa smiled, but it was not a happy smile. "Good thing humans do not follow normal tactics. Attack." The human ship flew fast toward the battle. The engines pushed hard. Inside the ship, the crew felt 3 times Earth's normal gravity. Their special suits helped them breathe and move. Other species would have passed out or died from this much force. But humans could handle it. Greg's screen showed targets. The attacking ship saw the human ship coming. 3 of them broke away from the main group. They moved to stop the humans. "The enemy ships are calling us," Peter said. "Just audio. Should I play it?" "Yes," Lisa ordered. The voice was harsh and mechanical. The computer tried to translate it into English. "Unknown ship. This is Venari territory. This is Venari operation. Leave now or we will destroy you. This is your only warning." Lisa looked at Amy. "Venari?" Amy was reading translation data. "Best guess? That is what they call themselves. They are claiming this whole system," Jake spoke quietly. "Commander, first contact rules say we should try talking before we fight." Lisa kept watching the screen. The defending ships were being destroyed one by one. First contact rules do not cover arriving in the middle of an invasion. "Peter, open a channel." "Channel open, Commander." "This is Commander Lisa Hartley of the Earth spaceship Valiant. We represent humanity. We received a distress call from this system. We are here to help. Stop your attack and leave or we will fight you." The answer came fast. This time the mechanical voice almost sounded amused. "Earth thing. Human thing. You have one small ship. We have many ships. You cannot stop us." The aliens called for help. No help comes. No help ever comes. They will learn this. You will learn this. Leave or die. Lisa cut the channel. She looked at Greg. "Target the lead ship. Fire when ready." The human ship's main gun fired. It shot a tungsten rod at incredible speed. At this distance, the enemy could not dodge. The rod hit the lead enemy ship in the middle. What happened next surprised everyone. The enemy ship just fell apart. The rod went through it like paper. Air rushed out into space. Explosions ripped through the ship. In 10 seconds, it was breaking into pieces. Greg stared at his display. Did we just destroy it with one shot? Jake was already checking the data. "Commander, look at their hull. It is light. Very light. Good for their engines, but not armored. Not by our standards," Lisa understood. Humans came from a planet with strong gravity. Human ships were built to handle incredible stress. Their hulls could take hits from space rocks moving at high speed. What was normal for human ships was deadly to these aliens. The other 2 enemy ships fired back. But their weapons were wrong for fighting humans. They used particle beams that worked slowly. They used missiles that tracked slow targets. They fought battles that lasted hours or days, not seconds. The human ship's defense systems came online. They threw out tiny tungsten pieces that destroyed the incoming missiles. The particle beams hit the ship's armor but barely scratched it. The armor was designed to handle heat from the ship's own engines. Lisa gave orders. "Greg, keep firing." "Jake, what is happening with the defending ships?" Jake checked his screens. "They stopped running away. I think they are watching us. And Commander, I am getting more signals. Different patterns, but the math matches the original distress call." Lisa nodded. "Send it to Amy, see if she can understand it." The second enemy ship exploded. The third tried to escape. It flew away from the planet fast, but Greg had already calculated where it would go. Another shot, another kill. The battle had lasted less than 3 minutes. Amy looked up from her station. Her face was pale. "Commander, I have a basic translation. They are asking what we are. They want to know if we are demons." Lisa felt cold fear in her chest. The remaining enemy ships saw what happened. They saw 3 of their ships destroyed in minutes. Now they were not attacking the planet anymore. They were grouping together, but they were not leaving. They were calling for help. "Peter, call Earth Space Command. Jake, find out everything you can about these Venari. Greg, start planning our defense. I think we just made them very angry." Lisa added one more thing. "Amy, try to talk to the aliens we are helping. Tell them we are not demons. Tell them we are friends. Tell them help is here." She did not say what she was really thinking. Humanity might have just started its first war with aliens. 3 destroyed ships were nothing if the Venari had a whole fleet. Everything had just changed forever. Commander Lisa Hartley had been in many dangerous situations in space. But she had just learned something important. In a galaxy where most species came from gentle worlds, where wars were slow and lasted a long time, humans were something new. They were hunters, and they had just entered a hunting ground full of prey. 6 hours passed. 6 hours of watching the enemy ships group together at the edge of the star system. 6 hours of Lisa trying to explain to Earth Space Command what had happened. The Admiral's face filled the screen. His name was George Patterson. He had a gray beard and he looked angry. "Let me understand this," Patterson said. His voice was tight with frustration. "You attacked an unknown alien force. You destroyed 3 of their ships. You might have started a war between stars. All without orders. All on your own." Lisa stood straight. "With respect, Admiral, they were invading a civilian population. The distress call was real. We had to help them." Patterson repeated her words slowly. "Had to help. Commander, do you know what you have done? We have been looking for intelligent life for 15 years. 15 years of hoping we were not alone, and our first contact is shooting them. Our first contact was with the aliens calling for help, sir. The ones being killed. I made a decision." Patterson was quiet for a long time. Lisa could see him thinking. The Admiral was not reckless, but he also did not abandon people who needed help. Finally, he sighed. "All right, Commander. What is done is done. I am sending the Second Fleet to you. 4 heavy cruisers, 2 destroyers, and the carrier Enterprise with Marines. They will be there in 36 hours. Until then, you must hold that system. No matter what." "Understood, Admiral. And sir, there is more. We have basic communication with the aliens now. They call themselves Solani. They are sending a shuttle up to meet us." Patterson's eyebrows went up. "They are coming to you? That is either very brave or very desperate, or both. Commander, you are authorized for formal first contact. Do not make this worse than it already is." The call ended. Lisa felt relief. She had expected worse. She thought she might lose her command. Instead, Patterson was supporting her. It was more than she deserved. "Commander, the alien shuttle is coming close. They are asking to dock with us," Peter said. Lisa fixed her uniform. "Let them dock. Jake, come with me. Amy, I need you in the docking bay with all your translation equipment. Greg, stay on high alert. If the Venari move, I want to know immediately." The alien shuttle was beautiful. It had smooth curves. It had panels that glowed with their own light. The engines used technology that humans had not figured out yet. It docked very gently and precisely. The 3 humans waited in the docking bay. They all wore full environmental suits. They had no idea what the aliens breathed. They did not know what might poison them. First contact rules were simple. Do not accidentally kill the aliens. The airlock made sounds as it worked. The air pressure equalized. The inner door opened. The aliens were beautiful. That was the only word for them. They were tall and thin. They stood maybe 7 feet high but looked delicate like glass. Their skin was pale blue that turned violet in the light. It was covered in fine scales that shimmered. They had 4 arms. Each hand had 3 fingers. They had large black eyes with horizontal pupils. They moved with grace that made human movement look clumsy. 3 of them stood in the airlock. They wore light clothing that seemed more decorative than useful. The lead alien wore official-looking clothes. It was a flowing garment in deep purples and blues. It moved like it was underwater. A translation device floated between the 2 species. It was much better than anything humans had made. When the lead alien spoke, the device made it into perfect English. "I am Council Speaker Zafira of the Solani Unity. I speak for my people in this dark time. You are the ones called humans?" Lisa took off her helmet. It was an act of trust. Jake looked nervous beside her. The air was breathable. It had a lot of oxygen, but humans could handle it for a while. "I am Commander Lisa Hartley. Yes, we are humans. We received your distress call. We came as quickly as we could." Zafira's large eyes blinked slowly. The gesture seemed to show deep emotion. "You came. We have sent our call for so long. You are the first to come. We had lost hope. The Venari have taken 4 of our colony worlds. They have killed millions. They say we are too weak to deserve our worlds. They say the strong must rule the weak. How long have they been attacking you?" Lisa asked. 10 cycles of our world. Your system says this is about 7 of your years. We have tried to talk with them. We have offered them resources, technology, and territory. They only want us to surrender completely. They say this is the way of the galaxy. They say the Venari have ruled for 1,000 cycles. They will rule for 1,000 more. Jake could not stay quiet. 7 years, and no one else answered your calls? One of the other aliens spoke. This one was younger. Its scales flickered between colors. There are many others in the galaxy, but they fear the Venari, or they have agreements with them, or they do not care about a small species like us. We learned too late that the galaxy is not friendly. Amy was typing fast on her computer. Commander, I am getting historical data from their systems. The galactic community is huge. Hundreds of species. But they have a strict rule of not interfering. They watch conflicts like this all the time. Zafira turned to look directly at Lisa. You destroyed 3 Venari warships in moments. We have been fighting them for 7 years. We have destroyed maybe 20 total. It cost us hundreds of our own ships. How is this possible? Lisa chose her words carefully. We come from a harder world than yours. Our technology and our way of fighting developed differently. But Speaker Zafira, you must understand. We sent for more ships, but we are just 1 ship now. If the Venari come back with many ships, we might not be able to stop them. Then you will die with us, Zafira said simply. You have already done more than we had any right to hope for. You came. That alone means more than you can understand. For 7 years we thought we were alone. We thought the universe did not care. But you came. Lisa felt the weight of those words. She thought of Earth and humanity's brutal history. All the times humans had failed to help those in need. All the times they had been the attackers. We are not going to die, Lisa said. She put more confidence in her voice than she felt. And neither are you. But I need you to tell me everything about the Venari. Their fleet strength, their tactics, their technology. Everything. The younger alien stepped forward. I am Fleet Commander Vex. I have fought the Venari more than any living Solani. I will tell you what I know. But Human Commander, you must understand. The fleet that attacked us here is only a small force. The Venari control 40 systems. They have hundreds of warships. And now that you have hurt their pride, they will come with everything they have. Greg's voice came over the communication system. Commander, sensors are detecting faster than light signatures at the edge of the system. Many of them. The Venari are coming back. Lisa looked at the Kalani. How many ships? Greg replied. Counting now. 30. No, 40. Commander, they brought a battle fleet. Vex's scales rippled. It might have been fear. A battle fleet. They have never sent such a force against us before. This is because of you. Because you made them bleed. Lisa was already moving toward the bridge. Jake, take our guests somewhere safe. Vex, I will need your knowledge. Zafira, start moving civilians from the surface. If this goes bad, I want your people far from here. As she ran to the bridge, Lisa thought about Patterson's words. She had started a war between stars, 1 ship against 40. The odds were impossible. But humans had faced impossible odds before. And sometimes they won anyway. The Venari battle fleet came out of faster-than-light travel in a formation that showed centuries of practice. They arranged themselves in a sphere. Their engines pointed outward. Their weapons pointed toward the planet. It was a siege formation. It was designed to stop any escape. It was designed to bring all their firepower against any defender. Fleet Commander Vex stood on the bridge. Their 4 arms moved as they pointed at screens. They explained how the Venari fought. They fight like they believe they will live forever. Patient, slow, they will set up positions. Then they will spend hours breaking down defenses. Your 1 ship will face 40. By their math, you should last about 20 minutes. Lisa studied the display. What they do not know is that humans do not fight by their math. Greg, how long until the 2nd fleet arrives? 34 hours, Commander. Greg's scarred hands moved across his console. We need to hold for 34 hours. Against those odds, we need a miracle. Then we make our own miracle, Lisa replied. Jake, what do we have? Jake pulled up a list. 1 exploration ship with light weapons. Railguns designed for clearing debris and fighting space pirates, not fleet battles. Point defense systems. Missiles, both regular and nuclear. Enough ammunition for maybe 3 long fights. That is it. What about the Solani? Lisa looked at Vex. What do you have left? The alien scales flickered with colors that Amy's database said meant shame. 7 defense ships. They are damaged from the earlier battle. Their weapons do not work well against Venari hulls. We have been trying to improve, but our technology was not made for war. Lisa nodded slowly. Her mind worked through plans. All right, here is what we will do. The Venari think they are fighting a normal battle. Slow and careful with many ships. We will give them something they have never seen before. She turned to her crew. Greg, work with Vex. I want targeting data on every Venari ship. Weak points, command vessels, anything important. Jake, plan high-speed attack runs. We will use the planet's gravity to slingshot around it. We will hit many targets before they can react. Peter, broadcast our fight on all frequencies. I want everyone in this galaxy to see what happens when you attack innocent people. Vex's eyes widened. You will attack? 40 ships? This is crazy. Welcome to Human Tactics, Lisa replied with a hard smile. Amy, work with the Solani civilian government. Get every ship that can fly off that planet. Scatter them across the system. If we fall, at least some of your people might survive. The Venari fleet finished forming up. A message came through. It was the same harsh mechanical voice. Earth vessel. You destroyed 3 Venari ships. This cannot be forgiven. This is war. You will surrender now, or we will destroy your ship and burn the Solani homeworld. We will make an example the galaxy will never forget. This is your only warning. Lisa grabbed the communication system. This is Commander Lisa Hartley of the Earth spaceship Valiant. Let me make something clear to you and anyone listening. Humanity will not watch while innocent people are killed. We will not surrender. We will not run. You want a war? You have one. She cut the transmission. She looked at her crew. Everyone, battle stations. This is real. We are about to show them why Earth is called a death world. The ship's engines roared to life. They pushed acceleration that would kill most species. Inside, the crew felt forces that would turn Solani bones to dust and crush Venari organs. But humans had evolved in heavy gravity and brutal conditions. They just grunted and kept working. The ship dove toward the planet. It used the planet's gravity to go even faster. The Venari fleet expected a defensive position. They were caught completely by surprise. Their targeting systems were designed for slow targets. They struggled to track something moving so fast. Greg's voice was tight. Entering weapons range. Target locked. 3, 2, 1 firing. The ship's railgun fired again and again. Each shot was calculated by computers that understood gravity and speed. Tungsten rods, each weighing hundreds of kilograms and moving at close to light speed, tore through the Venari formation. 2 ships exploded immediately. A third lost power and drifted helplessly. A fourth took a hit that sent it spinning. In less than 10 seconds, the Venari had lost 10% of their fleet. The human ship whipped around the planet. It used gravity to change direction in ways that should have been impossible. Jake called out directions and timing. Greg fired whenever he had a target. The ship's defense systems created a protective sphere of fast projectiles that destroyed anything that got close. On the second pass, the Venari had adjusted. Energy weapons tracked the ship's path. Particle beams and lasers tried to burn through the armor. Missiles launched and tracked the human vessel better. But the ship's armor held. It was designed for much more heat than these weapons made, and the missiles made for slow targets simply could not keep up with the brutal acceleration. 3 more Venari ships died. Then 4 more. The fight was in its 5th minute. The enemy fleet was down to 31 ships. Vex watched from the bridge. Their scales cycled through colors so fast that Amy's database could not translate them. This is impossible, the Solani commander whispered. No ship should be able to do this. No crew should survive these forces. What are you? Lisa did not take her eyes off the display. We are from Earth. We evolved in 1.0 standard gravities. We breathe oxygen so reactive it would poison most species. We eat things that are toxic for fun. We swim in liquids that would dissolve your ships. We are hunters who can chase prey for days. We are builders who split atoms and control fusion. And right now, we are the only thing standing between your people and death. The battle continued for 6 hours. 6 hours of high-speed attacks. 6 hours of impossible moves. 6 hours of split-second choices. The Venari fleet was designed for patient siege warfare. They could not adapt to the sheer speed and aggression of human tactics. They tried grouping together for defense, and the human ship used nuclear missiles with devastating results. They tried spreading out and railgun fire picked them off one by one. When the fight ended, the Venari fleet was down to 18 ships. 18 out of 40, and the human ship, while burned and battered, was still flying, still fighting. Greg slumped in his chair. He was exhausted. Commander, we are down to 20% ammunition, hull integrity at 60%. If they attack again, I do not know if we can keep this up. But the Venari were not attacking. The remaining ships were pulling back. They were grouping at the edge of the system. Another message came through. This time the mechanical voice was different. It might have been uncertainty, Earthship. This fight is over. We withdraw to think about new tactical data, but understand this is not surrender. The Venari will return. We always return. And next time we will be ready for Death World tactics. The Venari fleet jumped to faster than light speed. They left behind debris and stunned silence from everyone who watched. Vex turned to Lisa. Their large eyes reflected the bridge lights. You did it. You drove them away. One ship against 40 and you drove them away. The galaxy will never be the same. Lisa allowed herself one moment of relief. Then her training took over. Do not celebrate yet. They will be back. Next time they will know what they face. We need those reinforcements. We need them now. Peter looked up from his console. Commander, you need to hear this. We are getting messages from all over the galaxy. Dozens of species. Hundreds of worlds. They all watched our broadcast. They all saw what happened and... Lisa asked. Peter's voice was quiet and awed. Half of them are terrified of us. The other half want to hire us. Commander, we have been in space for 15 years and never met another species. We just became the galaxy's newest warriors, liberators, and monsters all in one day. Lisa closed her eyes. She had wanted first contact to be different. Something peaceful. Something that would start a new age of cooperation. Instead, humanity's introduction to the galaxy was written in fire and blood. But when she looked at Vex, at the hope shining in the alien commander's eyes, she could not regret it. Sometimes peace had to be defended. Sometimes helping meant fighting. And if that made humans the galaxy's warriors, then so be it. The real war was just beginning. The second fleet arrived 28 hours after the battle. 4 heavy cruisers came. They were much bigger than the Valiant. 2 destroyers came with many weapons. The carrier Enterprise came too. It was massive and scary looking. But most important, they brought Marines. 2,000 of humanity's best warriors. They were trained to fight anywhere and against anyone. Admiral George Patterson himself made the journey. His face appeared on every command screen. He looked at the damage to the Valiant. He looked at the debris field of destroyed Venari ships. Commander Hartley, Patterson said. His rough voice had respect in it now. I read your report twice. I still do not believe it. 1 ship holding off 40 enemies for 6 hours? That will go in the history books. Lisa stood at attention. She could barely keep her eyes open. She and her crew had been on high alert for over 30 hours. They were exhausted. With respect, Admiral, we just did what humans do. We protected those who could not protect themselves. Patterson nodded slowly. And that is exactly why Earth Space Command is officially authorizing military action in this war. The politicians are still arguing. But I have seen enough. The Venari want a war? They will get one. But first I need you to introduce me to our new allies. The meeting happened on the Enterprise. It was in a conference room that was quickly changed to fit Solani needs. Council Speaker Zafira attended. Fleet Commander Vex came too, along with other Solani officials. On the human side were Admiral Patterson, Commander Hartley, and Colonel Frank Harper of the Marine Corps. Zafira spoke first. Their translator changed their musical language to English. Admiral Patterson, on behalf of the Solani Unity, I thank you for helping us. Your Commander Hartley has shown us that not all species in the galaxy have forgotten mercy. Patterson's answer was honest and direct. Speaker, I will not lie to you. Earth is new to galactic politics. We do not know the rules or traditions or proper ways of doing things. What we do know is that we saw footage of Venari attacks on your civilians. We saw cities burning. That is something we cannot ignore. Vex leaned forward. Admiral, you must understand what you are agreeing to. The Venari control 40 systems. They have allies and client species. Starting a war with them will make Earth enemies across half the galaxy. Colonel Harper spoke up. He was a tough veteran with more scars than most Marines got in a lifetime. Let me ask you something, Commander. How many other species came to help you in the last 7 years? Vex's scales became darker. None. Many said they felt sorry for us. Some sent aid supplies, but none were willing to fight. The galactic community has a principle of not interfering. Species rise and fall and others just watch. Then forget the galactic community, Harper said flatly. We do not watch. We act, Patterson held up his hand. What the Colonel means is that humanity has a different view. We are new here. We do not have centuries of tradition holding us back. And honestly, after watching Commander Hartley's fight, I think we have something the galaxy has been missing. The will and ability to stand up to bullies. Zafira's large eyes blinked slowly. You would truly do this? Risk war with the Venari for a species you met days ago? Lisa found her voice. Speaker, where I come from, there is an old saying. The only thing needed for evil to win is for good people to do nothing. We are not going to do nothing. Over the next 3 days, more human ships arrived. Not just military ships, but civilian ships carrying aid workers, medical supplies, and construction equipment. Humanity, it seemed, had decided to fully commit, and they were not alone. Other species, encouraged by Earth's stand, began to act. The Kethrin, an insect race that had secretly been giving the Silani information, revealed themselves as allies. The Varash, water beings with advanced sensors, offered to help track Venari movements. Even some members of the Galactic Council, the ruling body that had stayed neutral for so long, began to question their policy. But the Venari were not idle. 3 weeks after the first fight, their revenge came, not at the Silani homeworld, which was now defended by a growing human fleet. They struck at Earth itself. The attack was meant to be surgical and precise. A Venari strike force came out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the Sol system. They broadcast a simple message: surrender the ships in Silani space or Earth's orbital structures would be destroyed. They never made it past Mars. Earth's home fleet met them. Orbital defense platforms joined in. Asteroid-based weapon stations fired. They met the Venari with fury that shocked the watching galaxy. The fight lasted 11 minutes. Not a single Venari ship escaped. The message humanity sent back to the Venari was simple and direct. We are the people of Earth. We come from a world that has tried to kill us for millions of years. We have survived ice ages and supervolcanoes. We have lived through plagues and wars. We have split the atom and touched other worlds. We do not surrender. We do not run. And we do not abandon our friends. If you want peace, withdraw from Silani space. If you want war, then come to Earth. Come and learn why they call our world a death world. The war that followed would change the galaxy. It would force the Galactic Council to rethink its policy of not interfering. It would create friendships and enemies that would last for generations. But it began with one ship, one crew, and one commander who heard a call for help and decided that help was not just coming. It was here. Commander Lisa Hartley stood on the bridge of the Valiant. The ship was now repaired and had new weapons. Around her, a fleet of human and allied ships prepared for the next mission. They were going to free one of the Silani colony worlds. They were going to do it the human way. Fast, aggressive, and with overwhelming force. Beside her, Fleet Commander Vex reviewed tactical data. The Silani officer now wore the badge of a joint species command. In 3 months, they had learned to work together. They mixed Silani planning with human aggression. They made a powerful team. Commander, Vex said quietly, I have been thinking about your world, this Earth. I have read your history files. Your species has been at war with itself for all your recorded history. You have made 10,000 ways to kill each other. Your planet has tried to destroy you countless times. By all logic, you should be the most brutal and violent species in the galaxy. Lisa waited. She knew there was more coming. But you are not, Vex continued. You came when we called. You risked everything for people you never met. You bring not just weapons, but medicine and food and hope. I think I am starting to understand. Your world tried to make you hard, but instead it made you strong. And there is a difference, Lisa smiled. That is the thing about Deathworlds, Vex. They do not just kill. They teach. They teach you to survive, to adapt, to help others survive. Because on a world like Earth, the only way to make it is together. The fleet jumped to faster than light speed. It carried a simple message to the galaxy. Help had come, not from the old powers with their centuries of tradition and careful inaction. It came from a young species from a harsh world. A species that had learned the most important lesson their planet could teach, that the strong protect the weak, that cruelty must be opposed, that when someone calls for help, you answer. The Deathworlders had answered the call, and the galaxy would never be the same. The liberation of Silani Colony World 7 began at dawn. The human fleet dropped out of faster-than-light travel at the edge of the system. It was a coordinated strike. 12 human warships, 20 Silani defense vessels, and support craft from 3 other allied species who had finally found the courage to act. The Venari occupation force was substantial. 24 warships in orbit, ground forces on the planet. They had been there for 4 years. 4 years of brutal occupation, 4 years of the Silani people suffering under foreign rule. But the Venari had made a critical mistake. They had not adapted. They still fought the way they had always fought. Slow, methodical siege warfare. They still believed that superior numbers meant victory. They had not learned the lesson that one human ship had tried to teach them. The battle was over in 45 minutes. The human ship struck with precision and overwhelming force. They used tactics the Venari had never seen before. Coordinated missile strikes that saturated defenses, railgun bombardments from impossible angles, electronic warfare that blinded enemy sensors. The Solani ships, emboldened by their human allies, fought with new confidence. When the orbital battle ended, the Marines went down. 2,000 human warriors in drop pods that screamed through the atmosphere like meteors. They landed in the capital city where the Vinari had established their headquarters. What happened next would become legend across the galaxy. Colonel Frank Harper led the assault personally. He was 53 years old. He had scars from 3 previous wars. He had fought in deserts and jungles and in the vacuum of space. He was a professional soldier who believed in 3 things: protecting the innocent, completing the mission, bringing his people home alive. The Vinari ground forces fought hard. They were good soldiers, but they had evolved on a planet with low gravity. They were not built for the kind of sustained combat that humans could endure. Human soldiers could carry twice the weight, move twice as fast, fight twice as long, and they did. By nightfall, the Vinari occupation force had surrendered. The Solani civilians emerged from hiding. They saw human Marines standing guard. They saw their own defense forces raising their flag again. They saw freedom. Lisa watched the liberation from the bridge of the Valiant. She saw the celebration on the planet below. She saw the relief and joy of people who had lived under occupation for years. She felt proud. But she also felt the weight of what was to come because the Vinari would not stop. They had lost battles before. They had lost ships and soldiers. But they had never lost a war. They ruled 40 systems. They had client species and allies. They had resources beyond measure. And now they had something else. They had a reason to be afraid. The response came 2 weeks later. Not an attack, an offer. The Vinari hegemony sent an ambassador to neutral space. They requested talks. They wanted to negotiate. Admiral Patterson led the human delegation. He brought Lisa with him. He brought Colonel Harper. He brought experts in diplomacy and warfare and alien psychology. They met on a space station maintained by the Galactic Council, a place of neutral ground where wars could be paused and peace could be discussed. The Vinari ambassador was tall and angular. Their exoskeleton was dark blue. Their multiple eyes watched everything. They moved with mechanical precision. When they spoke through their translator, their voice was cold and calculating. "I am Ambassador Krell. I speak with the authority of the Hegemony Council. We come to discuss terms." Patterson sat across from them. He did not smile. "What terms?" Krell's eyes focused on the Admiral. "The Solani question. The humans have demonstrated unexpected capability. The Hegemony acknowledges this. We propose partition. The Solani keep their core worlds. We keep our occupied territories. Human forces withdraw. Status quo is maintained. This is reasonable." Lisa felt anger rise in her chest. She opened her mouth to speak, but Patterson held up his hand. He spoke calmly. "Let me make sure I understand. You invaded the Solani. You took their worlds. You killed millions. And now that we are pushing you back, you want to keep what you stole. That is your idea of reasonable?" Krell's exoskeleton clicked. "This is how galactic politics works. Territory changes hands. Species rise and fall. This has been the way for millennia. The humans are new. You do not understand. We offer you face-saving compromise. You declare victory. We keep strategic holdings. Everyone benefits." Harper leaned forward. His scarred face was hard. "We do not want face-saving compromises. We want you out of Solani space. All of it, every ship, every soldier, every occupation administrator. You invaded a peaceful species because you thought you could, because no one would stop you. Well, someone is stopping you now." Krell's translator made sounds that might have been laughter. "You threaten the hegemony? We control 40 systems. We have hundreds of warships, thousands of years of military tradition. You have been in space for 15 years. You have won small battles. This means nothing." Lisa finally spoke. She kept her voice steady. "Ambassador, let me tell you about Earth. Our planet is classified as a Class 12 death world. Do you know what that means? It means our world has tried to kill us since we first stood upright. Ice ages, predators, disease, disasters, we survived them all. We did not just survive. We thrived. We built cities. We made art and music. We reached for the stars. And along the way, we learned something important." She stood up and looked directly at the ambassador. "We learned that bullies only understand one language: force. You thought the Solani were weak because they wanted peace. You thought no one would help them because the galaxy is full of cowards who watch and do nothing. You were wrong on both counts. The Solani are not weak. They are civilized. And humanity does not watch. We acted. Krell was silent for a long moment. When they spoke again, some of the certainty was gone from their voice. What are your terms? Patterson answered. Complete withdrawal from all Solani territory within 6 standard months. Reparations for the damage you caused. War crimes tribunals for those who committed atrocities. And a formal treaty recognizing Solani sovereignty and independence. Those are our terms. They are not negotiable, and if we refuse, then we continue the war, Harper said simply. And we will not stop until every Solani world is free. Make no mistake, Ambassador. We can lose battles and still win the war. Can you? The negotiations took 3 days. In the end, the Venari agreed to most of the human demands. They would withdraw from Solani space. They would pay some reparations. They would not face war crimes tribunals, but they would accept Galactic Council observers to ensure future compliance. It was not a perfect peace, but it was peace, and it meant that the Solani people could rebuild, could heal, could live without fear. On the final day of negotiations, Speaker Zafira came to see Lisa. The Solani leader looked older somehow. The weight of 7 years of war showed in their eyes. But there was also hope there. Real hope, Commander Hartley. Or should I say Captain Hartley? I hear you received a promotion. Lisa smiled. Just Lisa's fine, Speaker. Zafira moved closer. Their scales shimmered in the station lights. I came to say thank you. Words are inadequate. You risked everything for us. Your ship, your career, your life. You did not know us. We were strangers sending a desperate call into the void, and you came. We did what anyone should do, Lisa replied. But they do not, Zafira said softly. That is what I have learned. The galaxy is full of civilized species, advanced technology, ancient cultures. But so few have what you humans have, the courage to act when action is needed, the strength to stand when others sit, the compassion to help when help is called for. You say you come from a death world, perhaps, but I think your world gave you something precious. It gave you each other. It taught you that survival means cooperation, that strength means protecting the weak, that civilization means more than just technology and cities. Lisa felt tears in her eyes. She did not try to hide them. Thank you, Speaker. That means more than you know. The 2 leaders embraced, human and Solani, 2 species from different worlds, different biologies, different cultures, but united by something simple and profound, the belief that when someone calls for help, you answer. 1 year later, the galaxy was different. The Venari had withdrawn from Solani space. They had paid reparations. They had signed treaties. But more importantly, they had learned. The old doctrine of conquest through overwhelming patience had failed. Other aggressive species took note. The Galactic Council had changed too. For thousands of years, they had maintained strict non-interference policies. They had watched species rise and fall. They had observed wars and invasions with detached academic interest. But humanity had shown them something uncomfortable. That inaction was itself a choice. That neutrality in the face of evil was complicity. New policies were being debated. Intervention doctrines, protection protocols, ways for the advanced species to help those who were threatened. It was slow. It was bureaucratic. But it was change. Captain Lisa Hartley, now commanding the new heavy cruiser ESS Defiant, attended a ceremony on the Solani homeworld. They were dedicating a memorial, a monument to those who had died in the 7-year war, but also to those who had come to help. The memorial was beautiful. It was made of crystal that caught the light and split it into rainbows. In the center was a representation of space, stars and planets, and cutting through it a ship. The Valiant, the ship that had answered the call. Thousands of Solani attended. Millions more watched on broadcast. Speaker Zafira gave a speech. They talked about the dark years, the fear, the loss, the desperation of sending a signal into the void and hoping someone, anyone, would care enough to come. And then they talked about the day everything changed. The day a human ship dropped out of faster-than-light travel and said 5 simple words, "We are here to help." Lisa stood in the audience with her crew. Jake Morrison was there, now a full commander. Amy Cruz had become humanity's chief alien language expert. Greg Palmer commanded a destroyer. Peter Walsh ran communications for the entire Second Fleet. They had all stayed together, all moved up, all remained friends. After the ceremony, Lisa walked through the Solani capital. It was a city rebuilt. Buildings that had been destroyed were now new and shining. Parks had been replanted. Children played in streets that had once been battlefields. It was a city that looked to the future instead of the past. Fleet Commander Vex found her at a cafe overlooking the city. The Solani officer had become a good friend over the past year. They had fought together, planned together, and rebuilt together. Vex sat down across from Lisa. Their scales were a peaceful blue. "Mind if I join you?" "Please," Lisa gestured to the chair.